Up next, Texas. That's right, Tropical Storm Bertha is headed towards Texas with lots of flooding and rainfall. It is Tiffany's content, and we're still watching Tropical Storm Bertha as it now is in the southern Louisiana, headed towards Texas with a huge amount of rainfall at 45 miles per hour. And you can just see all the rainfall that it came along with it along the Gulf Coast and definitely headed towards Texas as a tropical storm, still going 40-45 miles per hour. Okay, so it is not over yet. In fact, it's just begun for Texas. You're going to see that whole coastline get flooded with a heavy rainfall, lightning, and thunderstorms. Okay, this is still a tropical storm as it makes another landfall in Texas. Okay, so that's two landfalls as it try to become a remnant low at 35 miles per hour and then try to exit out, tomorrow. So we're going to keep, our eyes out on this tropical storm Bertha. As you can see, it's definitely giving Texas a lot of flooding. Okay, and it's on the move. Okay, it's only moving about 10 knots, but it's right along southern Louisiana. Okay, right on the edge and the tip of between Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coast. You're going to just see just how much rainfall, lightning, and thunderstorms that will bring. There's already watches and warnings out for some of those cities along the coast. Okay, so make sure that you understand and check in your local listings. But this thing is definitely, it's been picking up some speed. Okay, so we're still watching the track and making sure that we understand just about how much rainfall we are expecting to come down. Right now, it is a lot of heavy rainfall, lightning, and thunderstorms, even trying to move inland. Okay, but right now, it is on the Gulf Coast of Texas. Okay, so Corpus Christi, all those states along there have to be sure that they understand that they know what's going on. It's severe lightning, thunderstorms, rain, and heavy rainfall. And then look at that. You still have in the central, you have some bubbling up thunderstorms, lightning, and even in the East Coast, all that flooding and stuff is going on. So there's a lot going on right now, and we definitely have to keep our eyes out on that central going into, Nebraska, Kansas, coming out of, that central area, Midwest, and even that East Coast definitely have flooding still. Virginia, New Jersey had tornadoes, lightning, and thunderstorms. So remember, my post last week was surrounding. We was definitely surrounded, okay? And we still have El Nino in effect too. So just be aware that El Nino does bring this type of weather activity. It disrupts the weather pattern, and you can see that we have a homegrown tropical storm right in the Gulf of America, still sprucing up some stores, gave Louisiana a landfall with heavy flooding, and also now headed towards Texas with just amount of that heavy rainfall, lightning, and thunderstorms. Okay, this can also mean storm surge, and we're going to talk about that. I'll show you the map and show you just about how much all the states along the Gulf Coast are expecting. Okay, 1 to 3 feet worth of storm surge. Okay, along the Gulf Coast, and this has already happened, already occurring, and more to come. Okay, as it tries to reach Texas. Okay, remember, you still have to check your local listings. It can even reach inland. You're going to see that flooding zone, those hazards, the most amount of flooding in the area, but it can still be along that whole Gulf Coast, and it can even go inland towards Houston. So make sure you're checking your local listings. This is Tropical Tidbits. You're going to still see that it's still, a low pressure area, and it's a tropical storm over there that's causing heavy lightning, thunderstorms, and rainfall. And just look at that. All that red is extensive amount of rainfall. Okay, that's heavy, excessive rainfall that can cause a lot of flood damage. Okay, so make sure you're staying tuned to Tiffany's content. You're going to see that we still have a lot of activity, tornadic activity in that central going into the Midwest, and then even on the East Coast. Okay, and Tropical Storm Bertha smack there in the middle of the Gulf of America as it moves its way towards Texas. Okay, with a lot of heavy rainfall, lightning, and thunderstorms. So make sure you're staying tuned to Tiffany's content. I'm going to keep you updated. It is Tiffany's content. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you.